I'm going to take you through me building a bike rack to hold about 6 or 7 bikes. You can see here I've already got one set up. I've gone through a few test pieces, and this is about the sturdiest setup I've come up with. It's just a piece of rebar here, some 1/2-inch square tubing, about 1/8 inch thick. You can see here I got a pretty good angle. It's 60 degrees. I'll take you through me building that before this, and then I've already got the steel to make a few more. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these, bend these, bent a few more of the wheel holders. So we'll go ahead and start building them. I want to make 2 or 3 more, so I can actually space them apart, figure out that spacing exactly. After that, then we'll start mocking them up one by one. Here we go. Following up here what we got done yesterday, of what I didn't show you guys. I got 3 racks on there, really trying to figure out how many bikes can get on there. And yesterday I decided I just want to try to get 6 bikes on here until we can actually test it and see. Maybe we'll try 7 there. The piece of pipe I have here, square tubing I should say, is 6 foot, so I'm going to space them about 11 inches apart, 6 inches in, and then everything after that will be 11 inches. Just, I don't like how close all these are together, so we're going to try to open it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these off and then go ahead and install the rest of them. I already know where I want them, and yesterday I got all the brackets made up. I got a few more wheel holders to make up, and then we'll go ahead and start installing them now that I know where I want them to go. And so here we go. So we got the rest of this thing welded up. Went ahead and just welded everything together. It did take a little bit longer than I thought. Just I would weld a little bit at each one every time, and just how hot it got and thin this stuff is, it would obviously warp. So I just went ahead and tacked one thing at a time, went by, let it cool down, and went on to the other side. Pretty happy with how it turned out. Pretty straight and everything. So the next thing I'm going to do, I need to figure out a height. You can see when it was on the stand, I got a pretty good idea of how tall I want it, but I need to check the length coming out of the truck hitch, figure that out, and then how tall I want it. So I'll walk you through some of my measurements, stuff like that next, but go ahead and let this cool, and we'll go ahead and start measuring the truck. Alright guys, we're back in the garage after a couple days off. The last clip you saw me fitting up the bikes on the rack mounted to the truck. I was really thinking about height, how high I wanted the bikes up. And one thing that I paid attention to on the other builds is the height for how far your wheel sticks down here. And the longest bike I have is from the bottom of the front tire to the bottom of the rear tire is about 4 feet. And that's a transition spire, just to give you some info. So from the top of that rack to the bottom of the hitch, I would say you want to be right about that 4 feet. Mine's a little less than that just because I got this piece of steel that I happened to find. So, which went to the scrapyard today, got a few pieces, 100 pounds, and it was 25 bucks. So if you got a local one, hit it up. So we're going to go ahead and try to finish up, welding these up. I got this piece here for the actual hitch. This is 3/16 thickness. I didn't have anything that thick, so that's why I went out looking. So I'm going to cut off 18 inches to go in the hitch of the truck, and then that's when we'll weld that piece on. And then we'll go ahead and weld the rack back onto that. So I'm going to cut this off first, clean that up, cut it to length, and clean that up and start welding this stuff up. So we finished welding everything up. Went ahead and welded all the gussets up. Got this bottom bar in that just holds the tire in place. I put some little gussets on there as well. Something I did not think about, I went ahead and centered this lower bar, but the way the bikes sit, they're off to the right just a little bit. So when I got all the way to the end, that right tire on the last bike was sitting right on the edge of that piece of steel. So I would normally move this over, but because I had already welded it up and didn't pay attention to that, I'm just going to weld the little section over there. I think it's about 4 inches. And then I've been messing around a little bit with how I'm mounting the tires. I'm just really keeping them down while travel. And same thing with the bottom. So I went ahead and I've ordered a few things off of Amazon. Got some straps, little Allen nuts. I actually cut them down so you can see what I got going on here. I've just tacked them in a few spots here. Not really holding a lot of weight, so I'm not worried about it, and they're solid. They took a weld good. The rubber straps, so same thing on the other side. Come over, hook it on. I really like that. Seems really solid and pretty simple. The lower ones, I'm still trying to figure this out. But I think I'm just gonna do one there, hook the strap around the outside, and instead of having another one, just because that rubber wants to twist, I don't love the way it feels. I think I'm just gonna made these little hooks. Just do something like that. That way it's quick and easy to get your bike on and off. You don't want to do a bunch of screwing around. So we're working on that, still trying to figure something out. But we'll go from there and see what we end up with. All right, we got the last bits of what we needed to finish up this rack, so hopefully we can complete it today. Here are the last little, these are what I'm using for the straps you saw earlier. Really just a little Allen head. I think they're calling them a barrel nut, something like that. I'll tag all this stuff that I'm using in the description so you can try it yourself or something like that. But these have worked great. Found the straps and they just slip right over the top like you saw. So something like this, they're $7 on Amazon for a 10-pack. So I've bought 2 packs of them. I got 14 bucks invested. I don't think that's too bad. So I have been cutting them down just so they're not as big, and I just took a stack of washers, and I want 3/8 from here to that last washer. So stuck a few washers on there, cut them down, and that way there's not much slop in the straps moving back and forth. So that's what I've done there. finished up, cleaned up, getting ready to paint. Another thing I added on that I didn't show is I put just off of Amazon, if you can see it, a little spring thing in there. It's got a nut on the end. So you can put a threaded bolt through here and tighten it up, and it really gets all of that wobble out of here, which is obviously good because you don't want these things shaking back and forth going down the road. So just a little quick tip, cheap on Amazon. Quality is really good and stays in there because of that little spring on there, the tension. So if you ever do something like this, maybe this is a good idea. All right, here it is, all painted, finished up. I found some caps, just 2x2 caps to go on here. I really think that cleans it up well. The white, I know it's gonna get dirty. I'm a big fan of white though, and I think it looks fantastic. Super clean. I think the black here and the black caps on the end really bring it together. But yeah, we'll get a video of us testing it out, but other than that, video is complete, and thanks for watching. Finished product.